So I'm going to kick us off now. I want to welcome everyone to the NYPAY and CrossTech session on innovation winners in cross-border payments. As I mentioned before, my name is Ron Mazurski, and I've got a relationship with both NYPAY and with CrossTech, and I'll explain that in a minute. NYPAY itself is a nonprofit membership organization that I founded back in 2006. And we have about 3,500 senior executives and innovators in payments, fintech, and banking that belong to the organization. We've been running monthly virtual events since, back when the pandemic began, which was March 2020. And we've continued, and we ran sessions before that, going back to 2006, as in-person events. NYPAY is planning some upcoming virtual events in the next few months. One of them is on instant emergency disbursements, and that'll be next month. We also have one on cryptocurrency after FTX, and another session on PayFacs. If you have an interest in looking at any of that information, what the sessions will be, go to www.nypay.org. Now, we're happy to co-host this event with CrossTech, and we're celebrating innovators in the cross-border payments industry. I'm proud to be a board member of CrossTech, and I was also a judge for the recent 2022 CrossTech Awards competition. So the folks you're going to be meeting in a few minutes are folks that I ended up voting on and supporting as winners of this competition. You're going to be meeting some outstanding fintechs, and they will discuss their businesses via either a short demo or a short presentation. And if you have any questions, please type it into the chat feature, which is, I guess, hidden by the more 3 buttons on the lower right-hand corner, and then just click up on whatever question you have, and send it out to everybody. So what can you expect today? First, we have a panel that's going to speak for about an hour, and that's going to include the Q&A session itself. We've got breakout groups of 5 to 7 people that will be randomly selected by our master of ceremonies, and that's Bill. He kind of runs this thing for us. And we're going to have 2 10-minute equivalents of what I'll call speed dating. And the idea is to be able to meet people, get quick introduction in a smaller group of folks, and that will also include the speakers you're going to hear about tonight. And then we're going to ask you to share your contact information if you're interested in that chat feature, and save the chat. That way you can reach out to people after the meeting is over. What I'd like to do now is introduce my partner in crime, Priscilla Doliveira Friedman. She's the Chief Operating Officer of CrossTech, and she is the moderator of today's session. You're going to hear from Priscilla, 1, an introduction to CrossTech and the award winners. 2, she's going to be moderating the panel, so introducing the speakers, and she's going to be asking questions to people when the panel is done. So Priscilla, thank you very much, and off to you.
Thank you, Ron, for the invitation, and also for being a partner in crime for CrossTech. For those who don't know CrossTech and who we are, I just wanted to give a 30-second introduction of what we do and how the collaboration with Ron adds a lot of value to our business. We are a conference and consulting company, and we work in the cross-border space to deliver value and to really make a difference in the industry. We've been doing it for 11 years. This is part of our passion to life. And partnering with NYPAY to continue to grow our fintech community on the B2B space is really something that we are very proud of. So thank you, Ron, for the introduction. Today is very special for me because, first of all, it's the new year, right? In January, it's our first VRT for 2023. And in our second engagement with Ron Mazurski, the CEO and founder of Agility, NYPAY, and of course, CrossTech board member. And today the focus is going to be in CrossTech Innovation Awards. I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of context. When we host conferences, one of the things that are very important for us is to give a space for innovators, for companies making a difference and providing not only technology solutions, but a new transformation vision of what the industry will look like for the future. It took us about 2 to 3 months to work on a really strong and aggressive marketing campaign to reach out to companies around the world to really be able to provide this opportunity. As you can see today, you're going to meet companies from different backgrounds or different countries and also different specialities because we focus our digital awards to have that nice variety. I wanted to talk a little bit about the different awards that we came together to present during the CrossTech World in Miami in November 2022. So the 4 categories that we focus on was digital, fintech making a difference, compliance solution, and industry choice. I wanted to give you a brief description of what each of the award category is. And then when we go into the panel sessions, I'm going to give you an introduction of the company who is going to be presenting why they won the award. And we're going to ask some questions so they can wrap up their product demonstration and their vision of what their product will look like and how their product can contribute, hopefully, for one of you that are here that haven't met an innovation like this before. So for the digital award, we focus on companies really bringing the digital aspect into cross-border space. As you know, this industry is growing really fast. And one of the biggest terms that I like to use in my clients is time to market, right? How technology has grown so fast. And if we don't beat the time to market and build on innovation, we won't make it. So the digital award is really positioning these companies to bring to the next level. The second award is Fintech Making a Difference. As you know, a part of the NYPAY community and also the community that we're growing CrossTech, we're looking to grow the number of fintechs in the industry. And I believe you will meet a wonderful company, Fintech Making a Difference Award that I'm going to announce in a second. I'm doing a little bit of suspense so you guys can get excited. The next award is Compliance Solution. I love to say that compliance is the beginning of everything. If you don't have the compliance right, you can have the best technology, but you won't be able to succeed. So for us, that category was very important. And we have a wonderful company providing great solutions for company in the space. And the last but not least is we like to call it the Industry Choice Award. Is who do our customers and our community love the most, that has the most innovative digital and that incorporates all the categories below. And I think you guys are gonna love to hear about these companies. So now I'm going to go into just introducing the company name, who is representing the company today. And I'm going to give you a brief description of what that company is. So that way you guys have an understanding. I'm going to try to keep the description to 1 sentence because as the owners of the company, the CEOs and the founders are going to be going through, they're going to give you the detailed version. So first and foremost, for digital awards, that was a hard category, I have to say, because during the cross-border space, a lot of people are building digital products. So, and in different categories. So for us, we had a tie. We had Aquanow and RemitPlus. Unfortunately, RemitPlus is not going to be able to join today, but Aquanow is going to take the time to introduce you their company. We have 2 representatives of the company principals. It's Brian Delaney and Sebastian Davis. It was wonderful meeting Brian in different conferences, understanding his products. We even have a few customers that have done implementations with their company. So it's something that we really love and are passionate about. And Aquanow is a leading infrastructure and liquidity provider that enables institution and enterprise use cases for digital assets. Now I would like to open the floor for Brian and Sebastian to give their presentation about their company. And then I'll ask you the questions at the end, Brian and Sebastian. Please welcome to the panel. We are very proud and happy that you were able to make it today.
Awesome. Thank you, Priscilla, and thanks to NYPAY and CrossTech for hosting this event. I'll just share my screen here.
Sure.
Let me know if that works.
Yes, we can see it. Perfect. Thank you, Brian.
Perfect. Yep. So as Priscilla mentioned, our company is Aquanow. Both Sebastian and I have been with the team for just over a year now. Great to meet everyone here. Thanks for attending. As Priscilla mentioned, we are a digital asset infrastructure and liquidity provider, B2B only. Also, as Priscilla mentioned, we have already integrated and working with a number of clients that we've met through CrossTech events and conferences, which has been fantastic. Just go through quick, just overview of our management team. 3 co-founders came from a electronic trading background. So they've actually built out a lot of the infrastructure that's used on the Toronto Stock Exchange, which is the leading equities exchange here in Canada. So really fantastic experience with respect to infrastructure trading, and really now just applying that to the digital asset class. Also a number of other very successful, experienced individuals from capital markets and banking. So a really great management team here at Aquanow. Quick snapshot here. Founded in 2018, so coming up on our 5-year anniversary this fall. We are private equity backed by Reading Capital, who are based in New York. Company is headquartered in Vancouver, which is where myself and Sebastian reside. We also are opening an office in Istanbul, Dubai, looking at a number of other locations throughout Europe, and then have about 10 or 15 individuals out of Toronto as well. I think we just eclipsed our 100 employee mark. I think just for reference, when I joined just over a year and a half ago, I think I was the 35th employee. So we've tripled in just over a year and a half, which has been fantastic. Over 200 institutional clients. Monthly volume is variable, very much dependent on the market. I think our highest has been in the kind of 5 to 6 billion in transactional volume a month. 30 countries and continuing to grow, and about 65 currency pairings that we can offer. So I'll just run through a couple examples of our product. One of the use cases that has been really quite successful has been enabling remittance through the power of digital assets. So here you could see an example of if we were to integrate with a remittance company, they would have the ability to convert, it could be BRL, it could be Turkish lira, Mexican peso, you name it. We'll have the ability to convert that into stablecoin, typically is the funds flow. So you can see here the example is, let's just hypothetical, 50,000 equivalent of Brazilian real. We would then convert that into USDC, which is a digital asset stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. We can then convert that stablecoin into US dollar, GBP, Euro, CAD, a number of different fiat options, so that the merchant, the end user, would be receiving the fiat of their choice. What's actually been quite interesting for me, coming from kind of the traditional finance world, is seeing the adoption over, especially the past 18 months, the workflow, the funds flow here that I've outlined 18 months ago. A lot of end users were looking to transition back into fiat. We are now seeing a lot of users just getting comfortable holding what's called USDC, could also be USDT, but just getting comfortable holding that stablecoin, just given how flexible and powerful that digital asset is, which is pegged to the US dollar. We also have another use case here, which is facilitating payments. So again, let's hypothetical, your customer's looking to pay for a pair of shoes, could be a car, could be a house. They want to pay with Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, USDC, really any digital assets that they are looking to use as a form of payment. We're able to enable that transaction flow. So the customer would be presented with a quote, which you can see here in the second stage. And then that digital asset of their choice is converted into the fiat of the seller's choice. So often what we'll see is we have a buyer looking to pay for goods and services with the digital assets, but the seller would prefer to receive fiat. So we are providing that infrastructure to help enable that transaction such that the customer can pay with digital asset of their choice and the seller receives the fiat of their choice. Also, I guess kind of the reverse would be facilitating payouts. A great example of this, which has become quite popular, is payroll. Actually, has been quite topical in the past couple of months, highly correlated to inflation. So it could be anywhere throughout South America. Turkey in particular has been quite impacted by inflation. So an example of this workflow would be if you have employees who are getting paid in Turkish lira, the employer wants to pay in TRY, Turkish lira, the employee would prefer to receive, could be Bitcoin, could be Ethereum, USDT, USDC. We're able to, again, enable that funds flow transaction such that when the employer is looking to pay out in their local fiat currency, we provide that infrastructure once again to enable that funds flow so that the employer is paying out in the fiat of their choice and the employee is receiving the digital asset of their choice. And we also do a lot of work with exchanges, brokerages, OTC desks, just to enable the purchasing of digital assets and can also provide clients with a wallet. So here you can see an example of hypothetically what your customer base, what their wallet might look like. Historically, you likely would have just had 1 or 2 fiats within your wallet. With time, the expectation, well, we're already starting to see it, is you will have your traditional fiats in your wallet, but also the ability to hold stablecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a number of digital assets that you can then use for payments, payouts, remittance, etc.
And I think, Brian, here I just wanted to discuss, I know during the cross-border industry and the evolution to get into cryptocurrency, there are a lot of options in the market. So I wanted for you to close your presentation to the audience. What is yours, Brian and Sebastian, your competitive advantage in the market? Why should anybody in the audience pick Aquanow versus the competition? So I would love to hear your perspective on that. I think Sebastian is the one who's going to answer that question, but I'll leave it up to you guys so that way we can close the discussion really nicely. And I see, Brian, just so you know, a lot of questions on the chat. Yep. So at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session specifically, and then we'll ask you to answer those specific questions during the Q&A sessions, okay?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I'll let Sebastian take that question.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Priscilla, for the intro. And thanks again to everyone for attending. So a pretty fundamental shift you're seeing in across industry is the importance of intangible assets on balance sheets. And I would say our competitive advantage is also somewhat intangible in the sense that it really does come from just trust building. And so just having a deep trust that the clients have in us is important. So there's smart people at Aquanow and the tech's good, but I mean that can happen other places too. But I think where we really stand out is really taking time to sit and empathize with our clients, to understand what they're trying to do, and then provide solutions. And we don't this is fundamental to the core of the team, that we under promise, over deliver. And when it comes to timelines, we're conservative, and as a result of that, we've been able to kind of hit above our weight class a little bit when we were more of an emerging company, and we were able to win some larger contracts based on that. And then since then, on a pretty modest marketing efforts, we've been able to grow, and that's largely through word of mouth, and that's the best way to grow a business, where clients who are happy with you recommend your services to others in their networks, and then you can keep growing that way. And so for the time being, maybe that we'll see how that scales over time, but for now that's definitely our competitive advantage, and we're happy to stick to it.
Thank you, Sebastian, for your perspective. And please, audience, drop your questions. Brian and Sebastian will be here until the end of the session, and then we can continue answering during our Q&A. Now I'd like to move to our next winner, which is a very special company for us. As you know, within CrossTech, we do a lot of research to see what are the new emerging markets that are coming to grow within the cross-border industry. And I believe Africa is is someone we've been following and looking to for a while now. So I'm really happy to introduce RemitPlus, which is a company that gives everyone easy access to financial services by offering data-free banking access across Africa. So I'd like to welcome Emeka Madu, the co-founder and CEO of RemitPlus, to the floor, please. Thank you, Emeka, for joining us, and we would love to hear more about your product, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Priscilla, for that intro, and thanks everyone. Nice to meet everyone on the call here. Before I get started, I want to say, winning this award has been kind of like something that has been very, very important to us. As recently, we've had a lot of companies reach out on LinkedIn, to just want to know about us, see how they can partner with us. So I'm happy to be here. So RemitPlus, what we do is that we build digital offline banking application for the African market, like the new digital banks across Africa, where transacts with the bank customer. So currently in Nigeria, or rather Africa, 500 million people who don't have access to internet data, and and then they don't be able to gain financial access to financial services. So we're solving this problem by being able to provide people in Africa easy access to financial services across the continent to over 500 million people. So we basically have two business models. So one is we partner with the largest financial banking platform for them. Bank ourselves, we build out our own banking infrastructure in Africa, but starting from Nigeria. So we already have
Emeka, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Products in the market.
Emeka, it's very hard to hear you. I think you're
seeing
breaking up.
A lot of growth, customer acquisition. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, sorry, but do I turn off my video for now?
Yes, I sent you a message. Yes, let's turn off your video so we can hear you better.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Yeah, apologies for that.
I think we're still having some internet connectivity issues, Emeka. So my suggestion will be, Emeka.
Okay, you can hear me more better. Is the network better? Can you hear me?
It's coming in and out. So I think I will suggest that we can continue on, and then I'll introduce the next panelist, and then we can touch base again on the Q&A. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, right?
Okay, thank you. So I apologize, guys, for the internet connectivity. I will give some time for Emeka to get back into the internet connection, and then we can touch that based on Q&A. Our next award is Fintech Making a Difference Award. This company, it was very funny how we got to meet each other. It's based in Miami. I've met Manuel and CEO in a lunch, and when I learned about his business model, I was very impressed. Something that we have never seen before. So we're very happy to have seen not only Félix Pago's growth, but to have Manuel as part of our community. So I'd like to welcome Félix Pago, Manuel Godoy, the CEO and co-founder of Félix Pago. Thank you, Manuel, for being here, and now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Priscilla, and well, thank you the whole CrossTech team, and thank you, Ron, and the NYPAY team for organizing this great panel. Let me share my screen here. Can you see this? Good, awesome. And you know, before I delve into showcasing what Félix is, I would love for us to you know, to go deep into our imaginations here, and you know, for us to imagine that you grew up in rural Mexico, and you know, as you become older and your ambitions grow, that you know, you start to want to provide for your family, and your ambitions grow so much that you want to build a future for your family, but you start to realize that the opportunities are just not there, right? And you know, you as many fellow Mexicans or Latin Americans, you decide to, you know, take the leap and cross the border to the land of opportunity and just find that American dream, and come here to start, you know, building the dream to take care of their family, right? And so as you start making money, the first thing that you want to do is to send money back home to those family members you left behind, or even to those friends that you continue to support. But you start to realize that you know, the digital services out there are just too complicated. They're not in Spanish, and therefore you rely on continue going to that, you know, old school Western Union. You stand in line, you know, waiting for a person to help you out, and then you end up paying $10 to send, you know, $100 back home. And you know, this is the reality of tens of millions of Latino immigrants in the US that constantly send billions of dollars every year. Only in 2021, they sent $125 billion, which is a number that has been growing over 10% year over year for the last 15 years. And it's not only about, you know, the complexity of the process and just the nonsense of this process, but also it's about what happens on the other side of the border, right? This money represents really the gas of the economies in Mexico or Central America or South America. So it's a process that doesn't make sense, and in our heads it should be just as easy as sending a Venmo, but it feels like walking to the post office, which is not a great experience. Which is why we built Félix, which, you know, it's essentially the world's first chatbot on WhatsApp, specifically tailored to Latinos, making remittances just extremely easy and cheap. And we built this leveraging blockchain and artificial intelligence to make a cross-border payment just as easy as sending a WhatsApp message, literally. And what the vision here is to combine that human experience that the users like from the store with the convenience and price of digital payment powered with crypto. So it feels much better when we actually see what's Félix, what's the product. So this is a bit of what happens, right? So users reach out to us literally on WhatsApp, and the magic starts to happen. So the chatbot, you know, greets the user. In this case, you know, we're building just a very intuitive user interface with buttons on WhatsApp, but really the user can just chat with Félix, literally, right? So on the back, we have a natural language processing engine that recognizes the messages and takes care of the transaction, right? So in this case, you know, it's straightforward. The user wants to send money, and you know, we ask, you know, how many you want to send, right? And this part of the magic here too is that users can put dollars, they can put pesos, they can put, sometimes they make mistakes, sometimes they put it in letters instead of numbers. But on the back end, you know, the chatbot, it's recognizing what they say, and it takes care of the transaction, right? In this case, the user puts 5 DLS, but we recognize and we tell them how many pesos they want to send. In this particular experience, this is I'm an existing user, so I already have my beneficiary list pre-populated. And again, like the magic of WhatsApp is that, you know, we have the buttons and it's super intuitive to just click and send money to one of the stored beneficiaries, right? And then the bot asks us to confirm the transaction, right? And then, you know, once we confirm, we we actually take the user outside WhatsApp to complete the payment. And this is sort of the more traditional part, right? This is a typical checkout page where the user just confirms the CVV. But then also the magic starts to happen, right? Because we collect the payment, but we immediately convert this to stablecoin. We move the stablecoin over to our wallets in Latin America, and we have our proprietary algorithm that finds the optimal route to convert stablecoin to local currency, so that we can actually have an FX spread and ultimately have a sustainable business, right? Then that happens obviously in seconds, which is the magic of cryptocurrency, and the user sees the receipt, right? They get the receipt, which is actually, interestingly enough, a very important part of the experience that the users want. They want to see the receipt. And yeah, so the magic is that everything happens on WhatsApp, and the users get to don't have to download an app. They don't have to obviously go to the store anymore, and they already know how to use it.
And Manuel, you and I discussed this before. So I like to use one-liner to define your company. And I think the one-liner that it's really nice is sending money as easy as sending a WhatsApp. And I think for a lot of us here that are WhatsApp user, that's usually the preferred method, right, of communication now, not only in Latam, but around the world. So I really love that one-liner to define your company. Now, just to close, I know I'm running out of time here. What would it be your competitive advantage? I know WhatsApp is a big thing, but why should companies choose to partner with you and customers?
Yeah, for sure. And I love what you said about WhatsApp. One thing that I like to say is, WhatsApp is the operating system of Latin America, really. But in a nutshell, Félix is a financial service built for Latinos, right? And how does that translate really to the product is that, I would say it's three things, right? So first, we mimic that human experience that the users want, that they're getting at the store, but they're not getting from the existing digital products, right? Like the RemitPlus and Zooms of the world. Second thing is that we're offering this, and going back to the point of WhatsApp, we're offering this in a platform that they already use and love. And then finally, because of that, we are already in millions of smartphones. We're already in the pockets of millions of folks in the US. WhatsApp penetration in the Latino community in the US is as high as it is in Mexico or Brazil. So the penetration is super high. So we're literally just one WhatsApp away.
Thank you, Manuel, for the demo. And please, for all the participants that are here, drop your questions for Manuel and the Félix Pago team so we can ask him during the Q&A session. Now I will move into compliance. Like I said, when we started this virtual roundtable, one of the things that I like to say that we need to do it right from the beginning is compliance. So I'd like to introduce our winner for the Compliance Solution of the Year. It's called ThetaRay. And I'll give you a brief description of the company before I introduce Raphael. So ThetaRay is the provider of Sonar, the AI-powered AML transaction monitoring solution that allows payment fintechs and banks to expand their business opportunities and grow revenue to trusted and reliable cross-border and domestic payments. Now, I would like to welcome Raphael Wander de Aguiar, Senior Sales Engineer for ThetaRay. Thank you for joining us today, Raphael.
Thank you, Priscilla. First of all, I would like to thank NYPAY, Ron, you and the CrossTech team for the opportunity to present and for the award. We were very excited and very honored to be granted this award. Let me share my screen. And of course, for all of you that took the time to watch our presentation. So what is ThetaRay and what is the business that we are in? We are here to transform and to help the global payments environment to be done with trust and with in a secure way. Our solution, as mentioned by Priscilla, is an AI-based solution that comes with the technology aiming to modernize and improve not only the results, but also the the value of the compliance for all the institutions. And we are comprised not only of transaction monitoring, but also sanction screening and customer scoring and classification solutions. So today, Sonar, it's a sub-product of ThetaRay aimed for fintechs, fully SaaS-based. Originally, we started working with banks, and we created this solution with the same technology that is used in the biggest banking groups in the world, like Santander, BNP Paribas, banks in the Middle East, Crédit Agricole, and we took that into a SaaS model for the fintechs. And the main goal is, first of all, to embed trust into the global transaction ecosystem, and quick and easy uncover suspicious activity using and leveraging the technology and the AI. And most important, it's a very regulator-friendly solution. We have been, when we moved from the banks to the fintech arena, we have gone through journeys with the biggest to the smallest, or even pre-operational fintechs that were relying on a compliance solution that would allow them to get their license. So we have been in journeys like that in LATAM and across the world. And one of the things that brings the value is the ability to reduce the operational expenses, reduction of false positives, and most important, and that's what brings us a lot of pride, is the feedbacks that we get from our current customers. And for example, one of our main initial technology acceptors, that was Banco Santander, they mentioned that the greatest value that we brought to them is that we allowed, with the trust that we put and the reduction of false positives, for them to increase their revenues by opening new markets. Now with the trust that they have a tool that is able to cover the risks of these high-risk markets that they were not covering by that time. And most further than that, I think that the best selling point that a company can have, it's not a good sales team, it's a satisfied and happy customer. And that's why I invite you all to access our website or our YouTube channel, where we have the testimonials of the value and the impact of ThetaRay into the Travelex Group, Payoneer, and Novati. There are three of the biggest players in the market operating globally in the FX and cross-border payments arena. And the main values that you will see on the testimonials and on these three testimonials, but in any customer that uses our solution, is the ability to, first of all, accelerate the business growth. Some of our customers reached a 50% increase in the revenue. Improve the customer satisfaction by reducing the false positives, by migrating from the legacy rule-based rule scenarios to AI, and the way that the alerts are presented, and the value and the aggregation that is available on the presentation of the alerts reduce the investigation time up to 50%. And the most important, I think, in our line of business is to increase the risk coverage. While rules and some other legacy systems are not able to predict or adapt to new scenarios, with the unsupervised algorithms and AI, we are able to not only identify and cover the existing risks, but whenever a new scenario, a new profile of criminal activity is identified, the algorithms can identify them by themselves proactively. Meanwhile, in the legacy systems, you would need to identify that, then build rules, and further and later detect. So the highlights of the solution, first of all, we are an active market. We don't have time to lose. So it's a short time to value. our implementations usually takes from 6 to 8 weeks to get you into production from the moment that we receive your data. We are very flexible. Our team, the implementation itself from your side is basically using our APIs to provide us the data. All the transformation and the implementation will be done by our data science and data engineering team. And we accept, of course, the standard formats, but we also can accept any unstructured format that you might have. We apply the risk-based approach, taking into consideration best practices in the market, but also taking into consideration regulations and requirements for each jurisdiction. And most important, as I mentioned, we have a full stack detection. We cover the layers of rules when necessary, but our great differential is the AI, plus the ability to also using AI improve the results of the sanction screening that allows you to add even additional local lists, private lists, watch lists, and we can group, we can connect to many of the list providers in the world. And on top of that, to classify the risk and score the risk of customers during the onboarding and through the life cycle of any customer. I got stuck here, just a second. So with this, I close.
I can see it well, Raphael.
Sorry?
I can see it well. So if you want to close before I ask your question.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much.
Okay, so Raphael, let's talk a little bit about, just to close, why should companies in the audience look for you as a compliance solution? What is your competitive advantage, so we can close this session?
Thank you very much. I think beyond the reduction or the capability of reducing the number of false positives and being able to identify proactively new schemas or new scenarios, I think the main value that we bring is the ability to ensure that our customers can expand their business with the assurance that they are covered and they are covering new risks and new scenarios. And that's, I think, the main message that we receive from all the existing users of ThetaRay. And most important, our technology was created and designed by our founders that were two doctors in data science and mathematicians from Tel Aviv University and Yale. And they have studied and patented the algorithms that are basically the heart and the brains of our solution. And that allows us to reach the numbers and the values that I mentioned during the presentation.
Thank you, Raphael from ThetaRay. Again, for everyone on the call, if you have any questions, now it's a good time to drop it off in the chat. So that way, when Ron starts leading the Q&A session, we can ask the question to Raphael directly. Now, moving on to complete the list of our 2022 Innovation Award winners, I would like to welcome the Industry Trust Award, which we gave to CashQ. CashQ, just wanted to give a brief description of the company, and then I'll introduce you our CEOs and founders. So CashQ is a cross-border payment that can be instant delivered to anyone, anywhere, using only phone numbers or card credentials. And similar to Félix, they have a small description for their company that I found very interesting. They call themselves a borderless version of Zelle. I would like to welcome Alex Voronovich, CEO and co-founder, and Arina Anapolskaya, co-founder and COO, to take the floor and present their product. Thank you, Alex and Arina, for being here today. I think you are on mute, Alex and Arina, but I could see your slides.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Priscilla, Ron, fellow co-founders. Thank you so much for having us. It's amazing to be here. So let us share the screen. So Alex and I, we're going to share our presentation with you, which is, we think it's exciting.
Yes, I can see it now. Thank you, Alex and Arina.
Wonderful. So my name is Arina and Alex. We are co-founders of CashQ. We are a team of fintech experts with extensive experience, worldwide experience in fintech. So our payment systems are live in 4 continents, including our last project for Digicel Group, where we built embedded payment infrastructure connecting 22 countries for local and cross-border payments. The cross-border payment can be difficult and time-consuming, especially for immigrants and nomads as us, who needs to send money to other countries. So our mission is to use fintech innovations to reduce discrimination and make cross-border payment more efficient and cost-effective, which would greatly benefit almost 47 immigrants in the United States and other people who needs to send money abroad. So let's check what's available for cross-border payment in our banking application. So for instance, Bank of America or Citibank may still rely on outdated technology like SWIFT, resulting in a high cost, like $45 for a $100 transfer, like my bank asked me. So some neobanks or Cash App, like a Cash App, Chime, or even my credit union may not even offer cross-border payments at all. So in cases where it is possible, often involves a multiple middlemen, high fees require a lot of information for origination, transaction delivery time is significantly delayed and can take up to several days.
According to the FDIC national survey of unbanked and underbanked households, only 14.5% of households were unbanked in 2021. This means that over 170 million households, or more than 95% of households in the United States, already have access to the bank interface, including 47 million foreign-born people, immigrants. However, they don't have access to competitive and convenient cross-border payment options. This leads to revenue leakage, as the customers turn to third-party companies on the right part of the slide, or applications for cross-border payments. Banks have confirmed this problem for the revenue leakage during interviews. The market opportunity for outbound cross-border payments in the US, including personal remittance and gig payments, is a significant $500 billion. This is why we developed the CashQ to provide innovative real-time international payments for banks and neobanks. Use case, just imagine borderless Zelle in your bank application, where money can be sent directly from customer bank account to international recipient account or card with phone number only, instantly, like a Zelle, all within your bank mobile app. We're building a network of connected financial institutions worldwide. In our network, domestic and international, traditional and challenger banks, national bank systems like Félix, card systems, UnionPay, Visa, electronic wallets, mobile money providers. And our API service can be connected to any application with a very simple API. We built CashQ to give banks and neobanks the ability to offer real-time international payments, enabling them to compete with companies like PayPal or RemitPlus and help them to win the battle. Today, we are a regulated financial institution, licensed, integrated with a network of partners I already mentioned. Would love to provide more details. Let's chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex and Arina, for this. I would love for you to talk about with us to close it. What is next in your plans? So what should we expect from CashQ for 2023 and beyond?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Everything what related with our prediction of the future, everything related with the trends, what we see in the market. First of all, we see the rise of different infrastructure, especially the nationwide bank system infrastructure, what will be launched pretty soon and what already launched. And our part of our strategy to be integrated and to expand our footprint through interconnection with those systems and with new neobanks and new financial networks across the world. Next part, we see the trends where the financial institution can become like a super app. It's not only will be Twitter. We believe the banks will play their major role in this game, and we're actively working to increase our customer base in the US by developing integrated partnership program with the major bank core providers and bank as a service providers to cover challenger banks and traditional banks as well. Also, we are planning to pilot our technology for the European clients, what we already have few of them there by end of this year with one of our partners in the Europe. And the last part, it's a testing. We're testing request to pay technology where the merchant able to get the payment for the transaction through our network. And this technology will be very interesting as well.
Thank you, Alex and Arina, for the presentation. So now I'd like to conclude this session, and thank you very much for all the award winners to be here with us today and to introduce your products. And we're now going to move on with my partner, Ron Mazurski from NYPAY for the Q&A sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Priscilla. We've gotten a handful of questions that came in from people, so we will pop into those now. From Tay Revez to Brian at Aquanow. Tay asks, why would anyone want to receive Bitcoin these days? And I'm guessing this is a reaction to the cryptocurrency kind of crash that's gone on. Maybe you can answer that for her. You're on mute, Ryan.
Sorry about that. Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Bitcoin. I think that was just one of the examples we used in our workflow. There still are a number of individuals who view Bitcoin as a long-term investment. But what is more commonly being seen now is holding stablecoin. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Bitcoin that they're receiving for a cryptocurrency. It could be USDC or USDT.
Very good. You got another question that came in as well. And this came from Michael Flores to you, Brian. When you convert from digital to fiat, how do you calculate the exchange rate?
So that would just be again, it depends on the pair. And you can think of it as foreign exchange almost. So if you're going from US dollar to Bitcoin, there will be a quote. Just dependent on market conditions. We have a very deep liquidity pool. So we're quite confident that we're offering the best and the tightest price in the market. But it will be very much dependent on the fiat and the digital assets that you're selecting. So if it's USD Bitcoin, that'll be a very liquid market. USD, USDC, also very liquid. As you go kind of into the more bespoke digital assets, that might start to spread out a bit, but we are B2B only, a wholesale model, if you will. So we're quite confident that the pricing that we are offering is really the most, I guess, the tightest pricing that you'll potentially be able to find globally.
Thanks, Brian. We do have a question that came in from Joel Patnod. Joel is asking Manuel at Félix the following. Does the stablecoin element really add? Please elaborate what you gain by using stablecoins versus traditional funding.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. And stablecoin, I mean, for us, has a lot of value. But really, the key thing is that the money flows instantly when we move stablecoin between the US and the receiving wallets in specific countries in Latin America, and that happens at zero cost. And it all happens through APIs, and it's just very efficient. Traditional pre-funding can be expensive, especially at higher volumes. Let's say that you have to fund a transaction for the weekend or using the traditional methods, then you have to wait for Monday to get there. With stablecoin, that doesn't happen, right? That's the beauty of crypto in general. That's one of the things, but there are other advantages. I mean, we leverage stablecoin, we convert that to other crypto tokens, and then we optimize our FX spread because of that, leveraging the crypto exchanges. And so that allows us to have our own FX trading desk, if you will, at a spread that allows us to have a sustainable business.
Thank you. We have another follow-up question that came in from David True. And David True is with NYPAY and is on the board of directors there as well. David asks to Brian, as a follow-up to what you were saying, does that mean you work with multiple exchanges to get the best foreign exchange rate?
Yep, we are sourcing liquidity from a number of exchanges globally, also generating a lot of flow within our own ecosystem. So on any given month, call it 3 to 5 billion in transactional volume, which helps us provide best price, best execution to our clients that are integrated with us.
Great, thank you. And I have two more that just came in. Sheila Ursal says, Brian, does USDC or Bitcoin offering best foreign exchange offer any arbitrage opportunities? Have you seen B2B convert and hold and liquidate at optimal time and save costs?
Sab, do you want to?
No. I mean, that would depend on each person's business model, right? Like some people would like to do just back-to-back to avoid any kind of bearing any risk on that. But I mean, people are free to speculate with their treasuries if they want. One thing that we have created is it's kind of still in beta testing right now, but is a we use some time series algorithms to forecast the mempool of the Bitcoin network, which is kind of a fancy way of saying we can estimate what go forward fees, transaction fees will be on that network to process. So for people who are executing large batches of transactions, we can actually suggest to them, or we can provide to them the estimated fee forecast, going out 24, currently 72 hours planned, so that they will be able to estimate when might be the best time to send those batches out on a transaction fee basis alone. So that it's up to them to take the spot risk, but that is something that we can offer for people who are doing that currently, and then the Ethereum network will be coming up after that, and so that would facilitate USDC transfers on Ethereum by minimizing gas fees or trying to optimize for utility. So there are some tools kind of working around that, but in terms of like speculating on where you think spot's going to go on a Bitcoin for something like that'd be to the operator's discretion.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. We are now at 7 o'clock, which is the end of our formal panel session. But we'd like to ask you all to stick around, both speakers, panelists, as well as attendees, for a short 10-minute get to know you speed dates. There'll be 5 to 7 people in those sessions. And after the first session is done, we'll be given a minute and they'll pop us into another group. So I'm going to turn to Bill now or Nikki and ask if you guys would work your magic and put us into our sessions.
Okay, stand by.